All right, welcome back for Book of Experts to TV. And today we're talking with our guest who brought her show, or her radio show. It's an internet-based radio show to 10,000 listeners in the first 7 weeks. When she told me that story, I wanted to hear more, and I bet you will as well. This is Book of Experts TV, and it's brought to you by Salesman.
Time for Book of Experts TV.
Topics you love.
Experts you trust.
Friction-free referrals.
Tried,
Tested,
Trusted.
This is Book of Experts, brought to you by Salesman.me. All right, so welcome to Book of Experts TV. Pearl Cox joining us from the UK. I'm super excited. You and I actually chatted a week or so ago when I joined you on the radio show with Serenity Radio. Now today we're doing Book of Experts TV, so welcome to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me, Toby.
So when you and I connected, and a big shout out to Bernie who helped connect the two of us to have this conversation. But when I heard the growth of what you were doing with your new radio show, I said, all right, I want to know the details here. This is really interesting. Tell us a little bit, if you would, Pearl. Let's start with Serenity Radio, what it is, what Pearls of Wisdom, your show on Serenity Radio, is, and in sort of that structure. We'll take it from there a little bit later. We'll get into what you do, the work that you're doing, and why people come to you. But let's start on the radio side, because I think that's a really interesting story here.
Right. Serenity Radio literally started when this pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, started. So it's very, very new. And literally the two founders of Serenity Radio, they were quite nervous at home, seeing all this doom and gloom on the media, and everyone was scared, and they thought, let's start to put something positive together. And they literally reached out. It's a UK-based radio station, but it is global. We're in 44 different countries, and they were reaching out to people. The actual tagline for Serenity Radio is raise the vibration of the nation, and it's a holistic radio station looking at covering so many different things: well-being, spirituality, and a form of business. And I was put in touch with the founders, and they said, what do you do? And I already had my podcast that was Pearls of Wisdom, obviously a play on my name and sharing my expertise. And they said, right, how can you help? And I do a lot of work with law of attraction, and I'm bringing that into my business. And that's where I said, right, put a show together and an idea. So I put 12 weeks of what I would do, pulled that together, and literally it's gone from there. It's literally started on the 13th of June. And from then on week, the listeners have grown. So it shows that there's a need for this.
It's exciting. You know, I think that one of the things we've seen is this tremendous, just a Cambrian burst of creativity from the pandemic, from all these changes that are happening in the world around us. Not to say that it's always been easy. I know there are a lot of people out there that have had a hard go of it and maybe are still in that right now. But at the same time, a lot of blessings that are being birthed out of it as well. Sounds like Serenity Radio is one of those examples, a burst of creativity. Tell us a little bit more about Pearls of Wisdom, your show specifically. What are you doing on the show? What are you trying to capture in those conversations with your guests?
Right, what I do, Pearls of Wisdom, my tagline for the show is mixing business and law of attraction to give you work-life balance. So it's literally, I do maybe half of the show where I talk about a bit of business coaching, and then I add an area of law of attraction that you can put the two together, which most people think it doesn't gel, that it's not supposed to work. But this is where you're seeing there's so many people are turning to a more spiritual idea, thinking about meditation, things to actually bring back into alignment so they have a work-life balance, because it's almost that stop, that forced lockdown stop has brought everyone the chance to think and work through. And that's literally what I do across each of these. And I've just had my 12 weeks extended for another 12 weeks. And I've also had a new show added where I'm doing Pearls of Wisdom interviews. So this goes out to anyone here that would be interested. If you feel you can share, let me know and I can showcase you as well. But that's just it. This is what Pearls of Wisdom does. I talk about business idea, I add law of attraction, I started off with journaling, I talk about meditation or affirmations where you actually bring that together. You do the work from the business side, you put out your intention from the law of attraction. We all know that universe abhors a vacuum. You do the work, you put the affirmations out, and then there's that gap, and the universe brings in and fills that gap to help you actually succeed and move forward. And that's literally how you just start and you talk about what you do. I naturally tend to be friendly. I talk to people and you just share what you're doing and people listen and they obviously like the idea and it grows and they share it with you.
So the guest interviews will be capturing some of these stories. What specifically are you looking for in your guests that are coming on the Pearls of Wisdom, the interview show that you're the component that you're launching to your show?
That I'm actually looking where people use business, that spirituality and well-being, and combine them all together. I think now from lockdown, where we've all learned to go back inside and maybe see how we actually look after our well-being, and I think that's a positive story that we can go out and share. And whether you mix it with business coaching, whether you've got an idea, a piece of software that actually works with that and can be used, it's a way of showcasing that this works and it's positivity, and it's putting that positivity out as opposed to the doom and gloom that we see on a lot of the media, because that gets them more advertising revenue, so they will push the negative side. But for business, we want the positive side because we want to build and grow and show people there is potential.
Pearl, what are you seeing in the marketplace right now? Because from my take, I have a lot of conversations with folks that are obviously in the business world. That's where sales and marketing world, where I work as well. And I'm hearing more conversation about connection, about positive energy. Our guest yesterday was talking about good vibes that are being sent out through the universe. And you've described it as a law of attraction, but noticing some of these things that we can't, the synchronicities and serendipitous connections that we make with people that we can't always explain, but things just start to fall into place. Can you help some of our listeners, our guests out there are thinking, all right, this sounds like woo-woo fuzzy bunnies to me. Help make the business case for what we're seeing on the law of attraction, or this other side, this energetic side of the business world, when it's not just about the bottom line, although it's contributing there as well.
This is where I go back to that first thing when we started the interview, when you said about those magic numbers, that 10K in 6 weeks. This is where you've got a business idea. We're all experts in what we do and we're business savvy. You then add those little bits from the law of attraction, from working in a spiritual as sense way, and you see synchronicities. To begin with, you might not actually connect those, but suddenly you see something, someone comes into your network that you've never met, and you think, I'm so aligned to this person, they can complement the work I'm doing, there's a potential to collaborate. And this is how the 10K reach grew, literally sharing what you know, realizing you've got resonance with someone else, and they go with that and they grab it and they run. They see a positive reaction and think, yes, I can do this. I can do this in my business. I can add it to my day-to-day well-being schedule, habits. And you start to realize the more we've spent time with ourselves through this lockdown, where business has been taken online, you don't necessarily meet people face to face. It's nearly all through the online version, like we're doing here with StreamYard or any of the other areas. You've got that you can share, and that's when you suddenly sit back and you think, I've met 5 new people this week and I've had the connections. That's where it's synchronicity, and that's where it starts to work. And each of those 5 people might be telling 5 people about this person that's maybe in woo-woo land, but she's got a radio show that is going out and putting her message on a global scale. And suddenly you realize, for those sort of numbers in 6 weeks is telling me there's an interest. It's telling anyone involved that yes, they want to mix that together, that yes, you want your business and you want to promote it, but you also want to look after your well-being and maybe look at the personal side as how you can grow and give back as well. So that's where I'd say it just works. So that's where the woo-woo comes into it, and it works.
So this is, I think, where we bridge a little bit into the work that you're doing. And I know you have a retreat coming up. We can talk about that a little bit as well. Can you walk us through the process that you're actually doing with clients, where these are my words, and I'm curious if they work for you as well, but how do we engineer this process or reverse engineer this process so that it is more reliable, more predictable? Our businesses we have to bank on our businesses. How do we make sure that it's not just haphazard? Because that, I think, is a challenge for a lot of folks when they do talk about some of these spiritual, energetic, law of attraction aspects. It feels like something that we can't control. Should we even be trying to help make it happen, help bring it along? What does your process look like, I think, is where I'm going with this.
Yeah. Normally what I do originally, you start with your business idea, or you see who the audience connection is, whether they're coming from a spiritual point of view, you can talk the law of attraction idea, or you can do the business side where you actually talk about where your expertise is. But just what you said there, Tobin, that's how I brought the idea of this retreat was birthed. It's going to be online, and you get the option of being an exhibitor so that you can actually put your established business or a brand new business that you've built during COVID in front of a global audience. You get the chance to sponsor and actually go through and promote your brand through sponsorship, or you can be an attendee and actually learn. And the 3 areas of the retreat are business, spirituality, and well-being. So when you come on as an attendee, you get the choice to say where your preference is and where you're going to learn. It might be from a business coach, might be from a life coach, something like that, where it's just purely business and you want to move your business on. But a lot of the exhibitors I've got currently, when I ask them this, which area do you sit in? They sit across all 3, because yes, they're doing business and helping you grow. And in this current climate, online is the way to go, and they can show you so many different ways to connect in that way. But also having those habits that you start to put into place. Now, there's a book that comes to mind, 5 a.m. Club. I think it's Robin Sharma. And if you read that and set through, it's entrepreneurs, CEOs that follow the 5-second club suggestions. And what it mixes with is business and spirituality. You do your meditation, you're up at 5 o'clock, do your exercise, your meditation, and it makes you ready for the day. And so many entrepreneurs work with that. And that's why I brought that idea together. And it's only from asking people and seeing the response that where we think the connection isn't there, so many more people are interested, because they can fit into any area and it helps them grow as well as their business.
So it's one of the things that we talk a lot about in Sales Map is that this sales entrepreneurial space is probably the best personal development program that's ever been designed. It's not just business. Obviously, that is part of the equation because the business funds the growth and development, but that we are growing as individuals, expanding in our abilities, our scope, our interests. I mean, it literally challenges us, and in some cases calls upon our inner demons and dragons that we've wrestled with for years that brought out full force when you're working in this space. So I love that aspect. Tell me a little bit more about the who. So I heard you mention entrepreneurs. Who specifically is this retreat designed for, and why are they coming to you? What are they going to get out of this experience?
Right. From the exhibitor's point of view, I have people that are established in business, maybe been going a couple of years and want to go to the next level. I have people that are brand new, that have literally set up an online business through COVID, where they've seen that online digital is the only way they're going to connect with potential customers, with clients, and actually make that connection. So it's across the board. And sponsors wise, I'm getting the more established businesses that can actually get in front there, because I'm running the whole retreat on Zoom, recording everything and having those sessions that have been recorded made available on replay. And it's those sessions that you can then brand for the sponsors, so they are then going to be viewed again and again. You get your logo, you get a promo. So for a top business, you can have your logo, your brand in front of a large global audience that is going to be watched 30 days plus, and people start to talk about it. So it fits quite a few different areas. Yes, establish people that already know, right, this is my service, this is what I want to get in front of a large audience with. And it's just doing, you could, from a coaching point of view, you could maybe share one of your key points, or maybe a taster session of what would, if you're doing a program, you introduce that and get that interest. If it's someone with a product, you could actually use that session to demonstrate a product, get in front of the right people, and you don't know where that person is in the audience, what they're thinking about that day. They might be wanting to grow in their personal development, so they want your services. They might see a product and think, well, yeah, actually, that's what I want to bring into my business, or my family can help that. It depends where they are on the day. And if you've got replays, they might be in a different place the next day, and therefore they look at a different service. And it helps everyone.
So what I'm getting from this is that there are, you talked about the sponsors, sort of the business component of the partnering, sponsoring businesses that are going to participate in this. And then you have this global audience of folks who will benefit from the exposure. And these are my words, not yours, but I'm going to describe it in a business expo format, really an opportunity, because I think we all understand you're only one conversation away from changing the trajectory of your business forever. You know, a year from now, 2 years from now, you won't even recognize your business, and it can all go back to that one conversation with an ideal client who gets stellar results, and that case study ends up bringing dozens and dozens or hundreds of more clients. It could be a joint venture partnership. It could be one of the sponsors that you described. It's that one conversation that ends up being an inflection point. Pearl, as we start to wrap up here, obviously folks can find you at bookofexperts.com. We encourage you to look up Pearl. There's many other experts as well. That's why we're here. We're showcasing and spotlighting our experts in the community. What else should they know? Where else should they be looking for you for more information if they're interested in the retreat specifically, or maybe some of the other programs that you do?
If you want to connect with me, I'd say definitely follow me on Serenity Radio. My show is Pearls of Wisdom, and it airs on a Wednesday afternoon UK time, but they also have the shows available on demand, so you can do a catch up and actually see if you like what you hear and reach out from there. So you could email me at pearl@serenityradio.co.uk if you're looking at that area. When we look at the retreat, I can give you an email, a domain name, but I'm literally in the process of having it moved over. So don't be surprised if there isn't anything there if you go today. If you go tomorrow, you're likely to see it. But we're looking at www.powretreats.com. So that's powretreats.com, which is obviously Pearls of Wisdom Retreats. So that's something you can learn from there, or reach out to me on LinkedIn or on Book of Experts, and I can send you connections if you're interested in sponsorship or exhibiting or being part of the audience, because I've got connections to all of that, but they're on sales funnel, so it's a bit hard to do links here.
Well, we, for folks that might be new to the Book of Experts community, if you're not familiar with what we're doing there, it really has become almost a Wikipedia of experts. So one of the things you'll see in Pearl's profile or other experts there is that there is a value ladder, meaning there are different rungs of the ladder of where you might enter the world and work with one of these experts. It could be a lead magnet or some kind of free resource that some of our experts provide. It could be a strategy session. In some cases, it could be the programs that they deliver, the signature or transformational programs that folks are working with their clients on. So there's different rungs of the ladder. We all start in different places, and that's what we're trying to capture there on Book of Experts. One is the value ladder, and then also bringing experts together and helping enhance their referral circles as well. So again, you can see that at bookofexperts.com. Pearl, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time, one, to hear your story about the fast growth of Serenity Radio and specifically your Pearls of Wisdom show, and also what you're doing with the retreat. Appreciate you taking the time to come on Book of Experts TV today.
Thank you.